Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge and welcome to another quickie recommendation video, or I'm trying to make it as quick as I can, right? Because I know that some of you appreciate when you can get in, get your recs, and get out. So this one today was one that was suggested in my monthly suggestion box, as you would. If you go to my community page, which please subscribe and like this video, but particularly if you're subscribed to my channel, you'll be getting my updates from my community page, where I sometimes ask for video recommendations, book recommendations, and I let you guys know of other things there. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to know that stuff. So this video, as the title says, is going to be about romances with scientific hero or heroines. This is going to be primarily a historical romance recommendation video, because I feel like, well, I mean, just being honest, like for me, I think it's more interesting to read about characters who are scientists when it is in a historical setting. And that's just kind of how it's worked out with the books that I have read. That's just how it's worked out. So I have two books I'm going to start with that are not historical, and then we'll dive into all the historical recs that I have for this. So the first one I want to mention is The Protector by Elin. This is actually the first book in the Men of the North series, which is one that you maybe have seen around Booktube a little bit lately. This is a futuristic story where women rule the world. And there are still men, but they are a more feminine version of men, except for this one place in the North, which is kind of going to be the area of like Canada, the northern area right there, where there's the Men of the North, and they still live in a, you know, patriarchal society. There is like one woman to every 100,000 men or something like that. So when a woman comes of age, there's actually this big competition that happens, and then there will be 5 men who win, and a woman gets to pick between these 5 men of who will be her mate or whatever. But in this case, there is this heroine who she is a like archaeologist, or a she studies like the history of the past of the earth and everything before the gender wars and like all this stuff happened and everything. And so there happens to be a library that gets unearthed in the North, and she, through a special like peace endeavor, it gets sent to the North so that she can help excavate it. And she needs a protector while she's there, and so she gets given our hero. The only thing is, there a protector means a husband, so she kind of is getting roped into more than she was expecting. So I really enjoyed this series. It has a fascinating, like, just a fascinating look at both toxic masculinity and toxic femininity, and just to show that too much of anything done in the improper way could be disastrous. So this series is crazy. There's a lot of funny, there's a lot of heartwarming, but this first one specifically, I would consider the heroine a scientist of a sort. So the other one that isn't historical would be Hypothetically by Dr. Rebecca Sharp. It is written by a doctor. Now this one is just a novella length, and it is actually about this girl who has a thing for her friend's dad, and he is a scientist. I can't remember which specifically, but like he literally works in a lab and like does experiments and stuff, and she is going to be an apprentice for him, and she's gonna make a move on him basically. So this one's a quickie, but it was really fun, and there are definitely some unsanitary things that go down in a lab in that one, that's for sure. Okay, so let's dive into the historicals that are on this list. So the first one I have that's a historical is My Fake Rake by Leigh. This is the first in the Union of the Rakes, and actually both the hero and the heroine are scientifically minded. And this is about Lady Grace Wyatt, and she really wants to catch the eye of this one, I can't remember his name, does it say on the back? I'm not sure, but she wants to catch the eye of a celebrated naturalist, and so she decides to build the perfect man out of her friend Sebastian, make him a rake, make him seem like he's pursuing her so that other people will pay attention to her. This trilogy by Leigh is based off of 80s and pop culture things, so this one definitely has a little bit of, you know, that 80s like glow up remake kind of thing. So this one was definitely a very fun read. Then there is The Madness of Miss Grey by Julia Bennet. This one is a bit of a darker historical. This is about Miss Grey, who she is the bastard daughter of her father, and to kind of hide her away, he gets her put in a mental asylum. And she's there for 10 years. And when a new doctor, oh, his name just went out of my head. I just was reading about him too. But anyway, when a new doctor, a new psychologist comes in to work there, she starts to seduce him, and she's hoping to use him to get out. The thing is, he knows that she's trying to do that, but also the more time that he spends with her and the more he starts learning about why she is in this place and what has been done to her that she would be here, the more that he wants to be seduced and in fact actually wants to help her. So this one is darker, and it's not like heavy dark, but if you're someone who reads dark romance, like, there are probably a few more trigger warnings to this than in like some other ones. Then there is A Week to be Wicked by Tessa Dare. We do have a little step back action for this one. Beautiful. So this one is actually about Minerva Haywood, who she's not like officially a scientist, but I think this one is, she is kind of an archaeologist of some kind, is how we would say it, or a paleontologist. She has discovered a like fossil or the remains of a certain kind of prehistoric creature, and she has been writing to this society as a man, and there's finally an opportunity for her to bring her findings to this convention that's happening and have herself acknowledged for what she's done. And so she hoodwinks Colin Sandhurst into a fake elopement with her to travel to take her to this place. And so there is forced proximity, and there is so many hijinks in this story. But it was really cute and heartwarming, and I really loved the hero. I really loved Colin in this book a lot. Then we gotta have our good old Sir Phillip by Julia Quinn, To Sir Phillip with Love, and we do have a step back on the back here. And Sir Phillip, I believe he's a botanist, is what he is. I know he's really into his plants. I think he's a botanist. And this one is about Eloise Bridgerton, who has been writing letters to Sir Phillip ever since a like second or third cousin of theirs had died. And she's kind of like the letter writer in the Bridgertons, and so she was writing him a condolence letter, and these letters kind of rolled into something more, and eventually Sir Phillip actually proposes to her in this letter, because unbeknownst to Eloise, which is kind of funny to me, that this is how distant of a cousin she was, that she didn't even know that her cousin had twins. So he is a single dad of these twins, and he's in need of a wife, basically. And so he proposes to Eloise, thinking that, you know, he might go there to marry her and then bring her home and surprise her with these kids. Well, turns out Eloise happens to slip away during a certain party that happens in the book before this one, and she decides she's just going to show up there and spend some time and get to know him. Well, by showing up there, she's basically like ruined herself and now they have to get married. But yeah, I really love this. Phillip is definitely very into his science, and he doesn't really want to pay too much attention to anything else. But he also had a very like troubling relationship with his wife, and his wife struggled with some mental health issues. There are triggers for suicide and a little bit of like self-harm in here, but also discussions of postpartum depression. And for me, it was kind of a sympathetic look at Phillip, who he wanted to help, but in the time that they lived, you know, he is unaware of what to offer to this woman, and things spiral out of control. And it's, I don't know, but I have a big soft spot for Sir Phillip, where a lot of people, I mean, I think a lot of people like Phillip, but anyway, he's a botanist. He likes flowers. It's great. Then there is To Beguile a Beast. This one also has some step back action because Elizabeth Hoyt has the best step backs, if you didn't know. This is book 3 in The Legend of the Four Soldiers, and this is about Sir Alistair Monroe, who I can't remember if he is a naturalist or I can't remember exactly, but I know that part of the reason why he is this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, he's a scarred hero, he has PTSD, is The Legend of the Four Soldiers. There was these 4 soldiers who were in a battle in the Americas, and some bad stuff went down. Now, he wasn't a soldier, but he was traveling with them, and he was doing work in the Americas and studying plants and nature and things like that. And so he got caught up in this because he was with, you know, he was with the group when it happened, with the army, the base or whatever. And so, yeah, he's very surly. This is very grumpy. And then we have our widow, Helen Fitzwilliam, who has 2 kids, and she has run away from her lover, basically. She has been a mistress to this man for a long time. Both of her kids belong to him, and he is just pretty cruel and always threatens to take her kids away. And so she makes a run for it. And with the help of some friends, she gets told about Sir Alistair and is like, hey, he needs a housekeeper. He needs someone to clean up his place. Why don't you go and kind of throw yourself on his mercy and see if he will let you work there? And Helen goes in very determined, on the top of her toes. She asks him to give her, kind of demands that he give her a trial period, and she goes about fixing up his life. And this book is so sexy. This was the first Elizabeth Hoyt that I read, but it's like I read this one and then I started reading the Maiden Lane series. This book is so sexy and delightful, and he is a pretty scarred guy. Like, he's missing, he has burns, he has issues with a hand. I think he's even missing like a finger or 2. So this is a pretty scarred hero as well, which I feel like you don't always see. I feel like it's always like artful or unseen things, but no, Sir Alistair, he's a bit rough looking. Then there is A Notorious Vow by Joanna Shupe. Our hero in this is an inventor. He's also deaf. This is another Grumpy Sunshine pairing. And our hero, our heroine, happens to sneak through his garden for a walk one day, and his dog startles her, and then he's like, you can't walk through my garden anymore. And she's like, well, why not? And she's about to be forced into a marriage with a horrible man because her family, you know, needs her to do that. And so they end up having a marriage of convenience to kind of save her from this marriage to this really old, creepy guy. But yes, he's an inventor, and he's working on some things to help better the lives of the deaf community of his time. This book might look light and fun, but there was definitely some triggers in here for the mistreatment of the deaf community, as well as just, how they were treated and how they were looked at by people who didn't understand what deafness was, and that you can still have a wonderful brain just because you cannot hear, which most of us would all know, right? But I read this for the last historical romance readathon. It was the group pick for that, and I really did enjoy this story a lot. All right, and then I want to mention Infamous by Minerva Spencer, and I'm just going to mention this briefly because, guys, this book doesn't come out for a while. I'm sorry, but I just read it during this historical romance readathon, and our hero is, I can't remember what it's called, but like he's into bugs and insects, and he was really like nerdy when he was younger, and so, but he has made a study of female pleasure. So the dude is into women and bugs, and it's great. He also has a devil-may-care attitude. He cuts to the heart of things, and he doesn't really let many people bother him. Our heroine in this story, her name is Celia, and she is a former mean girl. And back when she was only 18 or 19 years old, she was about to marry Richard, our hero's brother. He actually has a twin who is much better looking than him at the time, and just the one that everyone was in love with. And Celia was trying to secure her relationship with this brother. I think his name is Lucian, and she ended up kind of ruining everyone's lives. And then some stuff happened to her, and now it's been 10 years, and she is now a lady's companion. She's kind of lost. She's fallen in society, and now she is a lady's companion. And she ends up at a house party with Richard and Lucian and their families for a good amount of time. And it's really, she's having to face the music and show her humbled circumstances, and it was really interesting. And again, I'm sorry it doesn't come out till October, but put it on your radar, pre-order it, add it to your list. I really enjoy this series, Rebels of the Ton, and I thought this hero was very interesting. And then the last one I want to mention, I also read for the Historical Romance Readathon this time, and that's Marked by the Marquess by Alyson Chase. This is book 4 in the Lords of Discipline series. I haven't read any of the other ones. I wasn't confused when I was reading this. This is about our hero, the Marquess of Dunkeld, Sinclair, who goes by Sin, and he is actually a spy, and he's trying to figure out who is rabble-rousing in Scotland right now. There is a rebellion brewing, and he's trying to cut that off because it's not going to be big enough. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to piss the British off some more and cause more problems for them. So he is one of only a few Scottish lords who have a seat in Parliament, and he doesn't want anything to, you know, to wreck that. Like, they want to be in good standing. But anyway, he is a spy. When he is at a dinner party or house party, he goes down into the cellar and he runs into this girl named Winifred, who is the daughter of a scientist, but it turns out she actually does a lot of her father's experiments and work, but it all has to be under her father's name because she's a woman. And anyway, they end up getting compromised. And so they have to get married. And that happens in like the first chapter of this book. And Sin, he's just kind of like, well, I had to marry someone. And he's very intrigued by this woman and he thinks she's very beautiful. And so he's honestly like, well, whatever. The worst things could have happened. And she comes from kind of she doesn't have a dark past, but she had a mother who died in an insane asylum. And some of the things she noticed about her mother, she had a very loving father, but her mother was so erratic and would do things that actually put her in danger. And she would sometimes attack her father. And so her father didn't have any choice. And so to save her, the daughter, Winifred, he put her mother in an asylum, hoping that they could help her. And then her mother got sick and died there. So there was no chance to even bring her home. So she has kind of internalized this and made it that it was her mother's erratic behavior were the reasons why she was put in an insane asylum, even though obviously there are many more layers to that. So Winifred has taken that as, I can't show any emotion, I can't be easily angered or easily wound up, I need to hold it all in because then no one can send me to an insane asylum if I'm always calm and put together. Well, enter Sin, who just wants to rile her up. Like, the more time he spends with her, and as he's falling in love with her, he is trying to stir the pot with her, and she just won't do it. And so things in their bedroom got a little bit spicy. This has some BDSM in it. I would call it that for sure. And he's just trying to goad her into reactions. And when she finally pops the top on those, things get quite delightful. So, yeah. There you go. Those are 10 books that have scientists, hero, or heroines in them. Let me know some of your favorites. These were only a few, of course. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more recommendations weekly, as well as tons of other content. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.